Hey everyone, it's Holly. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I do a lot of homeschooling, cooking, travel, and motherhood videos. And today I am talking homeschooling. And I'm really excited because I've been wanting to share about this curriculum for quite some time now. And that is our history curriculum. I absolutely love our history curriculum. I have mentioned this curriculum before in previous videos. If you've watched any of my curriculum videos, I have shared what we do for history, but I've never really gotten in depth when it comes to this particular curriculum. This curriculum is called Story of the World. If you've never heard of it, then you are in for a treat because I gotta say, this curriculum is just not only so well written, but it is so much fun. I mean, honestly, I just love history in general, so maybe it's just fun for me. And because I enjoy history, I enjoy teaching history. So I might be a little biased just because it is a subject that I enjoy. I know a lot of times certain parents who homeschool prefer certain subjects, so maybe that would be their favorite to teach and the curriculum itself. But for me, it's history. I love history, geography, maps, and this covers all of it. So anyhow, Story of the World covers 4 different volumes. It goes all the way back to ancient times and then goes all the way to modern history, I guess you can call it. Currently now we are in volume 4. We just started volume 4 sometime last spring. So even though we haven't gone through it completely, I still feel like I know enough about it to share with you all out there what all it covers. I am mainly going to be doing a flip through of volume 1 because this video would be extremely long if I did a flip through of all 4 volumes. But if you are interested in me doing a flip through of another volume in a future video, please put that in the comments below. I always take these suggestions in the comments into great consideration and try and do a video on if there is a request out there. I'm going to get into it right now. I'm going to show you what they look like, all 4 volumes, at least from the outside. Then I'll dig into what all you can get with the curriculum, how you can do it. You know, there's different ways to do it. You don't have to order the entire kit like I did with each volume. You can either get the book on audio, one or the other, both. It just depends on how much you want to dig into your history curriculum. But again, I'm just so excited to share this with you because it is something that I love and feel is very well written. And I hope that it helps you out. If you are new to homeschooling, or maybe you've been homeschooling for a while and you just aren't happy with your curriculum, but you are looking for a great history curriculum and you just want to know a little bit more about this particular one, Story of the World. So let me get into it right now and share with you as much as I can of this great history curriculum. Right here is all 4 volumes in order. Now, in case you are wondering, what are the grade levels for each of the volumes? Volume 1 will be for 1st through 5th grade, Volume 2, 2nd through 6th grade, Volume 3, 3rd through 7th grade, and Volume 4, 4th through 8th grade. So that will be your grade level range that you can do each volume. And it has worked out wonderful for me to teach my 3 older kids all at once because, for instance, when my older 3 were in 1st, 3rd, and 4th grade, I was able to do volume 1 and it was very appropriate for each of them. And I was able to just continue moving up with all 3 of them and teach them all at the same time. I am going to be going back and do it for my youngest, starting with volume 1 and so forth. I will then have my older kids do a little bit of review as well. Now, if you're new to homeschooling and you're actually starting maybe even past 5th grade and you're thinking, do I skip volume 1? No, you do not want to skip volume 1. You will want to go through all 4 volumes starting with volume 1 because they are in chronological order. Starts with ancient times and goes all the way up to the modern age. As you can see here, each volume has 4 pieces to the set, and you do not have to get the entire set, but I want to go over with you what each piece is and why I prefer having the entire set. First of all, there is this piece right here, and this is the book. This is going to be your history lesson. It is basically stories. If you are going to own only one piece of this entire curriculum, you're going to want to have the book here because you can't do any of the other stuff really without the book or the audiobook, but I'll get into that in a minute. This book right here is a great read. It is a great read for older kids and adults. It is a great read aloud if you're looking for some great read alouds to your kids. And I'm going to go over it right here, show you a little bit about what it has to offer. Obviously, you have your table of content, and then it gets into a little introduction here, then eventually all the chapters. The chapters will be covering in chronological order history and world history. And you can see throughout the book, there are illustrations, maps, some good visuals to help explain a little bit better about the stories you are reading about. Then in the back, there are some other interesting features. One is just showing a timeline to basically break it all down as far as dates go and where in history these stories fell. And also a very helpful tool in the back of this book is the pronunciation guide, because with all the old names from all over the world, either people's names or city names, it sometimes can get hard to pronounce things. So I definitely found that part of it helpful. There's also an index in the back, so if you are looking for something particular, it's another helpful tool. However, if you prefer to just listen to a book, they have as well the audio of the entire book on CD. This CD pack here is word for word what the book is going to have. And honestly, I love having this audio option here, especially because there is a lot of older names, like I said, in the book with trying to pronounce things, and it really just helps to have a professional read the whole story, and you can follow along in the book if you want. Now, I realize a lot of people don't even own CD players anymore. If you don't have a CD player, I highly recommend getting one and getting the audio as well as the book. It is great to listen to the narrator tell the stories. The narrator does a phenomenal job, very easy to listen to, and it really does help too with all those hard words that I had a hard time pronouncing when I was starting off reading the book on my own. I highly recommend getting the audio. Next is going to be the book that provides tests for each chapter. And I definitely think this is really important for going through this history curriculum because I want to see what my kids have learned from hearing these stories. I don't want them to just listen to the stories because it might just go in one ear and out the other. But having these tests show me that my kids have picked up on some of the things that they heard in the lesson. You can see that in volume 1 here, it starts off really easy. It's fill in the blank, multiple choice, true or false. I actually, in the beginning, just would go over all these questions with my kids. We would do it as a group. But once they got a little older, I would photocopy the test and give them to them after we had gone through the chapter. And you can see that the answers are all provided in the back. Last piece is going to be the activity book. And it is totally optional if you want to do stuff in the activity book or not. But again, I highly recommend it because this activity book is packed full of things. Of course, everything goes along with the actual book. First of all, they'll show each chapter and what you're going to find with each chapter. They will, of course, have their policy here for photocopying, which I'll talk about in a minute. Then there's just some other things you can read, a lot of things to help you understand how to use this curriculum better and get more out of it. There is also a pronunciation guide in here that is, of course, extremely helpful for me at least. Then when you get into all the stuff that's available for chapter 1, for instance, here, you can see that there is encyclopedia cross-references, review questions, then there is additional readings you can do, and then you could see right here that there is the map work, coloring pages, then activities and projects. Now, I'll show you in a second what the maps and coloring pages are, because those are all going to be in this book halfway through. And then this is the rest of chapter 1 and their activities. Now, going halfway halfway through the book is where you will start all of the student pages. They will, of course, have another reminder here about their policy for photocopying. Just to make sure that you follow their policy, you can do photocopies as long as you are using it for your home, for your family only. Now getting into all the student pages here, you can see that there's a lot of different things for them to do, but this is the thing that I like the most, and that is the maps, because I just love geography, and it is so cool to talk to my kids about where in the world these stories in history took place. There is assignments on what you're supposed to do with the maps. Every time you're going through the chapter, it'll give you an explanation of what you need to have your child or student do. Then also halfway through, right before the student pages, they have all the answers to the map activities in case you want to just make sure you are having your child do them correctly. Going back to the student pages here, you could see that besides maps and coloring pages, they have a variety of things your student can do. They have crossword puzzles, word searches, templates for the different projects, things you can make photocopies of for your kids to work on. And this is what I feel really helps immerse my kids into their history lesson. Gives them things to work on. When we listen to the history lesson, it's great. My kids really enjoy just coloring the pictures when they are listening to history lessons. You can see here, going through the activity book, page after page of things you can do with your kids for each chapter, and then page after page of maps, coloring pages, templates. You don't have to do everything in here. There's just a lot of great ideas. In the very back of the activity book, they will have a review, which always helps us because when we are finished going through the book, I like to go back and just review everything, and this summarizes it very well. Real quick, I wanted to give an example of how I set up doing the history lessons for my kids and utilizing the student pages in the activity book. I give each of my kids a 3-ring binder, and usually I get the kind where you can slide in your own labels and just make something that's theirs, personalize it. When I make my photocopies of either the maps or the coloring pictures, I will then punch them with a 3-hole punch so they can fit into this 3-ring binder. I also put in one of these pencil holders. I usually buy these at Dollar Tree for really cheap, but they work great to keep all the kids' colored pencils in, because when we do sit down to do history, they are each going to need their own colored pencils to not only color the pictures but do the map work. And it is great that I could put it in the 3-ring binder. I usually give my kids their pages to work on every time we are going to work on that chapter. I don't usually have everything in here already. I'm just showing you this as an example. I usually have a big enough binder where we can do 2 volumes for 1 binder only. If you ever get these pages out of order, you will notice that all the page numbers are at the bottom along with what chapter they are in. Anyways, I just wanted to share how I like to do all these pages from the activity book. Real quick, while I'm not planning to do a flip through of volume 4, I do want to show you a little bit of how it does get more advanced when you get into volume 4. For instance, the test. The test get a lot more challenging for the student. You no longer have multiple choice, but rather you have to then fill in the blank and give short sentences for a lot of the different questions. Because it is designed for a higher grade level, it's going to be more challenging. And then when you look at the activity book, you are going to see that it is going to be a lot bigger. There is a lot more things that are offered in it, a lot more suggestions on extra reading and literature, as well as more student pages. Comparing it to volume 1, obviously it's going to be a thicker book. Checking it out here, you can see that it's all set up the same way. It's just going to have additional things in it. it. Of course, you can see that they still have map work in the back and coloring pages. The map work, however, is a little bit different as far as what they want you to do with your student. Anyways, just to share a little bit of what Volume 4 looks like, but that's all I have for you on Story of the World, mainly Volume 1 as far as this flip through goes, but you can see that they're all pretty similar as far as the kits go. I highly recommend getting the entire kit if you're going to get the curriculum. If you are interested in purchasing any of this material, there will be links for all of these things in the description box below. They are not any extra if you go through these links. I am providing them so that way you can find them easy. Yes, I do make a very small commission if you go through the links, but they are definitely no extra cost. If anything, they're the best price I've seen out there. Anyhow, that was my overview. Again, I hope this was helpful. I hope that it showed you what to expect if you are new to homeschooling and looking for a great history curriculum for your kids, or you are not happy with the curriculum you currently use and you need to change things up. Anyhow, if you enjoyed or got anything out of this video, please hit the like button. Thank you so much for watching, and may you have a beautiful day.